Hey there, so if you ever go on LinkedIn and you're wondering to yourself, or you're asking yourself, what should I post on LinkedIn stories? Then this video is for you. My name is Franco, and in this video, I'm going to go over 3 topics that you can really bring up in your LinkedIn stories. That way you're able to get the attention of your followers, as well as spark some conversation. So to get started, I want to go over what LinkedIn stories is and why it's important. First of all, LinkedIn stories is just like Instagram stories, Facebook stories, in that it's video that you're able to share on the platform, in this case LinkedIn, and that disappears after 24 hours. Now, this type of content is very engaging because it disappears after 24 hours. So that fear of missing out actually leads a lot of people to open up those stories and engage with that content. Now, why is it important? Well, people, when they go on LinkedIn, they're there for professional reasons. They're there to look for a job, to increase their network visibility, as well as to gain more business. And essentially, a lot of what the people do when they're on LinkedIn is that they are going through content on their feed, whether that is on their phone or on desktop. They're going through content and they're seeing what other people within their networks are doing. Now, you do have the benefit in that on LinkedIn, within the mobile app, you're able to share a specific little circle for your LinkedIn story. And that is extremely powerful because, well, first of all, very few people are using it. And when you do use it, for that entire 15-second period, for example, someone has their attention on you. Versus, let's say, if you were to share a post on LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn feed, your post might be there as well as someone else's post, and it's so much easier to get distracted. But when you have a story, for a brief period of time, you have their entire attention. Now, it's still not at the level of adoption as you have Instagram stories or Facebook stories. However, it's still going to be growing, and a lot of companies, such as Twitter, YouTube, are implementing their own story versions because they know that this is going to increase engagement on the platform. Funny enough, today, Twitter launched Twitter Fleets, which is literally just Instagram stories for Twitter. So when it comes to the 3 topics, what we want to do is we want to share, 1, topics that are able to inspire people, 2, topics that are able to educate people, and 3, wow, that was horrible, and 3, topics that are able to entertain people. So to start off with inspiration, you want to share stories on how you were able to accomplish several different results after going through several different obstacles, right? At the end of the day, the main thing is storytelling. So let's say that you're a salesperson and it took you a while to get to the point where you were selling at a consistent rate, right? Maybe you want to share that. Maybe you want to share what some of the obstacles you had to go through were, and then compare that to now the results you're getting. Because while you're doing that, people like to be able to listen to a story, to be able to know how one person was able to grow. And in this case, you're doing that, you're inspiring other salespeople, but at the same time, you're teaching your potential clients that you're the right man for the job, that you've been in the business for a long time, and that you are an expert in the field. For the second point, it's education, right? And this is something that I do, that I like to do on my LinkedIn stories, and that is sharing marketing tips and marketing advice. So, for example, I know that a lot of people that I'm connected with, they are decision makers, they're also marketers, right? And in the world of marketing, there's just so many things that it's difficult to stay on top of everything. So I always find it useful to be able to share content that other people will find useful for themselves, right? And that could be from tips on how to measure results with a campaign, maybe tools that allow businesses to be able to sell more, maybe tips on how they can use Google ads, Facebook ads, and different targeting capabilities to reach ideal audiences. And all of these tips right here allow me to be seen as an expert in the field, but also allow me to educate other people so that if they didn't know what custom audiences or lookalike audiences were on Facebook, well, after watching my video, they know, right? And that's the type of content that people like to watch, because if they're able to learn something, they're more likely to check out the next piece of content that you share. And last but not least, entertainment. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking entertainment on LinkedIn. This isn't entertainment. I know might not seem professional, but the truth is, everyone is human, right? When someone's going on LinkedIn, they are thinking professionally, right? But they're also human, right? So a lot of the content that you can share should obviously be professional to a point, but it can also be engaging in that it can be a little humorous. It can be that's type of comedy that people who you want to really engage with can say, you know what, I go through that all the time. So for example, I always see some content from some of the pages I follow on how salespeople find it difficult to go through leads because, salespeople, sometimes they have to cold call and no one likes cold calling, right? Well, that type of content translated into Instagram stories, that right there is that type of content that is funny, can be funny, and I'm sure that if you're a salesperson and you're sharing that type of content and other salespeople are seeing that type of content, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of engagement. Maybe it's a laughing face, laughing emoji. Maybe it's a comment that says something like, "Oh, I go through that all the time," etc. Right? So I'm not saying that entertainment needs to be something that you'll see on MTV or on Instagram, right? You don't want to be dancing on LinkedIn, although I'm sure in the future maybe you might go a little bit more of that route. You still want to be professional, but you want to keep in mind that people are human, and as we are human, we tend to go through many different obstacles. So if we're able to make those obstacles kind of funny and that, we all go through it and make a joke out of it, then you're able to get that engagement because people really do well when it comes to consuming that type of content. So to wrap it up, there are 3 types of topics that you're able to share on LinkedIn stories. The very first one is inspirational content, right? Inspirational stories. The second is educational content, where you're trying to educate people on what it is that you know. And third, it's to be able to share content that is entertaining, that is able to get the attention of people and get them to really interact with you. So those 3 topics, I think that they're very useful. I challenge you to go onto LinkedIn and start sharing something. I know that sometimes it might be a little bit difficult to start sharing video content, especially if you have never done it. But trust me, it's the best time to start it is now, because down the road you'd wish that you would have started today. So go for it. Maybe tag me, maybe send it to me on LinkedIn. That way I'm able to engage with it, and you know what? We'll be able to grow our networks together, all right? So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, as well as to subscribe to this channel. That way you're able to stay in touch with me and to watch my upcoming videos, all right? Have a great day, and thank you.